Hi, this is Mark Black, speaker and author of Live Life from the Heart. In this video, I want to talk to you about coping with change. Change is something that scares a lot of us. It's something that if you ask most people about, they are not comfortable with, they'd rather it not happen. And yet we live in a constantly changing environment, right? And the speed of change is only increasing. If you look back over the last decade and look at what's happened just in the terms of technology, where we were 10 years ago versus where we are today, it's unbelievable. If you look back over decades and even centuries, you'll find that the pace of change is increasing dramatically. And so my suggestion to you would be that we better get comfortable with change because it's not going anywhere. So rather than resisting it, let's see if we can figure out ways to get more comfortable with it so that we can adapt to it and accept it more effectively. So I just want to give you a couple of ideas or things, ways to think about change that are maybe more productive and will serve you better. And the first thing I would suggest to you is that you learn to accept the fact that change is going to happen. We as human beings tend to like consistency. We like routine, right? We drive to work the same way every day. We get up at the same time every morning. We tend to eat the same things. We go to the same restaurants. We watch even the same TV shows, and some of us watch the same episodes of the same TV shows over and over again, right? So we're very routine-based creatures, and there's nothing particularly wrong with that, but it can create in us this resistance to change. For some of us, it's more dramatic than others, but we get disrupted when things don't go the way we think they're supposed to. And what I'd like to suggest to you to do is that you want to invite change into your life, because it's going to come whether you like it or not. And the more practiced you get at adapting to it and dealing with it, the easier it becomes. So it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have any routines in your life, but it may mean that you want to start throwing wrenches into your routine here and there. Maybe you want to take a different route to work. Maybe you want to try something different for lunch next week. Allow little changes to creep into your life so that you become more adept at dealing with them. Accept the fact that they're going to happen because they are, whether you like it or not. You're going to be asked to do new things. You're going to be asked to adapt to new situations. Life is going to throw you curveballs. And so the more you get comfortable with that idea, the less strenuous it becomes. Here's the thing, for most of us, it's not actually the changes we go through that are stressful, it's our resistance and reaction to that change that becomes stressful. The more we resist it, the more we fight it, the more stressful it becomes. And so the more you can become at ease with it and accept it, the easier it will be to roll with the punches and accept the changes that come your way. I also want to invite you to look at change in a different way maybe than you have before and reframe what you think it means. Because I think if you analyze it at a deeper level, what you'll find is that for most of us anyway, when we think about change, we equate it with something negative. We equate change with negativity. We think about what it's going to take away from our lives, or how we're going to be forced to adapt, or how we're going to be made uncomfortable. And so change equals negative. But if you look back over your life, what you'll probably find is that, in fact, oftentimes change is very positive. If you know my story at all, I had a heart and double lung transplant when I was 24 years old. And so for the first 23 years of my life, I battled congenital heart disease and was in various stages of illness throughout that period of time. But in the last year before the transplant, I was quite sick a lot of the time, was not well. But the illness crept up on me gradually. And so slowly but surely I would adapt as each thing came along, each new development, each new complication. So that even though I was quite sick, I felt quite normal in that illness. And so it wasn't until after the most dramatic change I've ever undergone, receiving somebody else's heart and new lungs, that I realized how bad my life had been before and how much better it was now. The transformation was dramatic, and it was incredible. And it was probably one of the best things that ever happened in my life. So change does not need to equal negativity. In fact, if you try and stay in a constant state at all times, you're going to bring negative consequences to your life, right? Those of us who don't adapt, who try not to change, just invite bad things. We invite negative consequences. Think about the companies that don't adapt as things change. Have you seen a Kodak product around lately? No, why? Well, because they didn't adapt to change as effectively as they could have or should have. And there are many, many other examples. I haven't seen a Blockbuster around lately either. So we're gonna have to change, whether we like it or not. The world and our environments are gonna force us to. The question is, will we do it kicking and screaming, or will we do it in a way that embraces the change? My invitation to you would be to try and embrace it. Accept the fact that it's gonna happen. Welcome it, and try and look for the opportunities that are coming, because they're always there if you're willing to see them. I hope that's helpful for you. This has been Mark Black. And until next time, remember, don't live every day like it's your last day. Just be alive every day.